Hey, what's up, everybody? Fat Mike here, getting ready for another Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show. Welcome back. I'm glad that all of you guys are coming back to the Fat Mike Show. Tonight, we got a really big show for you guys as we welcome Mark Giangreco onto the show with us. Longtime news anchor over at ABC7, longtime Chicago sportsman. This guy loves Chicago. He loves Chicago sports, and we are bringing him on here with us tonight. Before we get going tonight, guys, I have to give thanks to all our sponsors. These guys are amazing. We got Nick and Ivy Brewing Company out in Lockport, Illinois. Great beer. The Fat Mike's coming out this week. Make sure you guys get on down there. They also have the Hubner in stock right now as we speak. The Jonathan Darren Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group. Guys are amazing. You guys are looking to buy, sell a new home. These are guys to go to. We got the Susie Sheehan State Farm office in Lockport, Illinois as well. These guys are awesome. They offer a Fat Mike markdown, so make sure you guys get on out there and take advantage of that. White Oak Farm Venue out in Michigan City is where I got married. Guys, listen, beautiful venue. The wedding pictures are going to be up soon. We got the Cupcakery Bakery. We also have Dugout Mugs, Hype Productions, and Berardi and Associates out in Homer Glen. Guys, make sure you guys go to all these places because without these guys, we aren't able to do the show here, and they're amazing. On that note, let's get this thing on the road. Let's talk some football. Let's talk some Blackhawks, and let's talk with Mark Giangreco. It's going to be a great show. On that note, here we go, guys. Stay tuned.
You are listening to 1252 Sports Entertainment. Parental discretion may be advised.
Woo! It's about that time. Fat Mike, Chicago Sports. Yeah. Woo. Finally here. Shot City Sports is right here. Updates on news, get it here. No rumors, cause we keep it real. Fat Mike. Woo. Sit back, relax, sugar beer one of them nights.
Hey, this is Carmen DeFalco from ESPN Chicago, and you're listening to the Fat Mike Sports Show.
Hey, this is Dave Richard from CBS Sports, and you're listening to the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show.
Hi, this is Jesse Rogers for the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey everyone, I'm Scott Merkin, the longtime White Sox beat writer for MLB.com and proud graduate of the University of Michigan. You're listening to me on the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show.
This is Chuck Arline, and you are listening to the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show. It's the best.
Hey, what's up? This is Greg Braggs Jr. from Braggs in the Stands, and you're listening to my guys on the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show. Boom!
Hey everyone, Fred Hubner from ESPN 1000. Great to be on the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show. I'm Dan Zaborski, senior writer for Fangraphs, and you're listening to Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show.
I'm JJ Stankovich from NBCSportsChicago.com and the Undercenter podcast, and you're listening to the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey Sparkle, you know what I listen to? It's the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show with my guy, Fat Mike. If you listen anywhere else, no jock. Listen to Fat Mike. The best.
And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show. You guys know me. I am Fat Mike, and I am happy to be back. I am really happy to be back. It's been a long time since I've seen all you guys. It's been a long time since I talked to you all, you guys. And the last time I left you guys with this thought. I left you guys with the thought the Bears were going to beat the Packers. I apologize. That was not a good game. It was not. It could have been better. It could have been much, much better. And we'll dive into that tonight a little bit here before we bring Mark Giangreco on with us. I love Mark. He's a great guy. I cannot wait to have him on here with us. Guy is absolutely amazing. But last week I left you guys with my gut feeling. I had a gut feeling that the Bears were going to beat the Packers. It didn't happen, guys. I apologize. I moved my record to 1-5. I just got to stop betting. I got to stop taking the Bears, and I apologize. This is my fault, guys. It's my fault. I won't take the Bears no more. Okay, I promise. I won't take the Bears no more. I'm going to bet against them every game for the rest of the year. Hopefully that works. Hopefully that works. because listen, it's not working for me. My guy Michael Brown. The next game we play, we will beat the Packers. My guy Tom Hawkins. Hey, hate to say I told you so. I know, God. I know. Come on. All right, guys. I'm sorry. I won't do it anymore. Okay, I promise. The rest of the year, don't take them this week. My buddy Kurt Lang, don't take them this week. I'm not taking them this week. I'm taking the Bucs this week, guys. Fingers crossed. I'm taking the Bucs this week. We all know what that means now that I'm saying this. Wink, 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 wink. But man, oh man, what a terrible game! What a terrible game. I thought this was going to be like the kind of coming out party for Justin Fields, and it just didn't happen. Okay, he did look good. He wasn't terrible. All right, he was not terrible. All right, but I expected more. I expected a lot more from the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields this past weekend. I really did. I really, really did. And it was one of those games where it just aggravated you throughout. The Bears they come out solid in the first quarter. Justin Herbert looked awesome. Okay, he really did. He looked fantastic on that first drive. Had a great game. Justin Fields on the day was Khalil Herbert was 19 for 97 and a tutty. All right, I know he had a couple catches back there in the backfield. We were actually able to work in Cole Kmet a little bit this week, which was fun. All right, hey guys, we got a fucking tight end. Can we use him? Let's see what happens here from going on out. Okay, let's see what happens from here on out. Okay, but Justin Fields needs to have a better game. He did do okay. He was 16 for 27 for $174, a touchdown and an interception. The interception, I will say this. Me watching it as a fan, sitting on my fat ass on the couch, I thought it was a free play. I really did think it was a free play. I'm not going to lie. I thought that the Packers jumped off sides. I guess I was wrong. Okay, I guess I was wrong. All right, my guy Michael Brown here. I'm going with the Bears next week. All right, you take him, Mike. You take him. You take him all the way. I'm going against them because that's just the way my luck's been running this year. Okay, I'm going to take the Bucs and hopefully the Bears win. Okay, fingers crossed. I didn't say that, but okay, here we go. But the Bears got to look better, guys. They got to look better. They're so vanilla on offense. They really are. Even with Bill Lazor as play caller, they are so vanilla on offense. They have to suit this kid with what works his playability the best way. They got to make sure that this kid is getting involved in plays that suits his needs. All right, it's driving me nuts. Allen Robinson this week, 4 receptions, 53 yards. Cole Kmet finally making the fucking stat sheet, 4 receptions for 49 yards. Darnell Mooney is our leading receiver at 5 receptions for 45 yards and a touchdown. Now, I like Darnell Mooney. I told all you guys last year, Darnell Mooney has the potential to be, in my mind, I wrote this last year, guys. Darnell Mooney has the potential, in my mind, to be every bit of Tyreek Hill and better. This kid has speed. He has separation. He has the mind for the game. I love this kid. But you got to get better up front. You have to get better up front. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, guys, but it is what it is. Justin Fields, again this week, sacked 4 times. Sacked 4 times. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Are we going to protect this fucking kid or no? Sacks allowed. 4 sacks allowed again this week. And it's not going to get any better this week. Going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have a fearsome front 7. And Stompkin Stupid and Dominican Sue. All right. And the linebackers that they got, Levante David, and I know there's another guy out there that just loves eating quarterbacks. Vita Vea, Justin Pierre-Paul. It's not going to get better this weekend, guys. You have to give this kid protection. It's going to be a very, very rough week this week. And that's why I'm taking Tampa Bay. It's going to be tough. I don't know what the hell we're doing here, but we got to stop being so vanilla on offense. We have to be. I don't know, guys. I don't know. You want to hear my Cubs fact of the day? My Cubs fact of the day, just to get off topic here a second. Cubs fact of the day. On this date in 2016, John Lester allowed 1 run in 7 innings, and Javier Baez drove in 3 runs as the Cubs beat the Dodgers 8-4 in Game 5 of the NLCS. How about that? There's my Cubs stat of the day, and it's all because of my daily calendar up here. Right there. That's where it is. I read that thing every day. Every day. But no, I mean, this Bears team, they have to protect Justin Fields. Now, you guys know me, and I've told you guys from the get-go, I was not a huge advocate of taking Justin Fields in the first round, moving up to grab him, trading away next year's first-round pick. I was not that guy. I'm the guy that wants to take the guy that's immediate plug and play. You immediately draft him, and this year coming in, he can start for you. That's what I want to see out of the Chicago Bears. They got lucky. They were able to draft Tevin Jenkins in the second round, moving up to grab him. But Tevin Jenkins is a high-risk, high-reward pick. The Bears knew that he had a back issue. Everybody knew that he had a back issue. If he comes back next year, great. And he can play left tackle or right tackle, fantastic. But if he don't, you shit the bed on that pick and you wasted your first-round pick. Plain and simple. It's going to be tough, guys. The Bears have to solidify that O-line. I know I keep on saying this, and I know a lot of people doubt it. I know a lot of people are like, it's not just the O-line. It's not just the O-line. It's Bill Lazor. It's Matt Nagy, yada, yada, yada. Bullshit. It's all of it. It's all of it. You don't have the weapons. Cole Kmet looks to be a fucking bust at this point. He cannot create separation, plain and simple. As much as I like Cole Kmet, you gotta do something. It's driving me absolutely insane. It's driving me nuts. Give me 1 second. You got to do something here. All right. Cole Kmet is driving me insane. He cannot create separation. The guy that we thought we wanted, the guy that we thought that could be a Travis Kelce type tight end, he's not that guy. Okay. He's not that guy because he can't create separation. He's not getting off the line. He's not forcing that outside linebacker to on a step. He's not doing that. Darnell Mooney right now is your best asset. He is the only asset. And it sucks to say. I know that people don't like to be called assets nowadays. All right. But he is the main asset of this Bears offense. Without him, this offense would be fucking stagnant. You wouldn't have those big plays that we've had so far this year. Because Allen Robinson, as much as I want to say that he's a top 10 wide receiver, he hasn't been creating any separation either. He's been dropping more balls than 13-year-old teenage boys around the Chicagoland area. Let's get real here. That's a real thing, guys. That's a real thing. But you got to protect Justin Fields to be able to create the plays that he needs to create, that he's good at. You got to suit this kid's needs on what he can do well. It's driving me nuts. And I'm not expecting the Bears to make the playoffs. I'm not that guy. At the beginning of the year, I think the over-under was set at 6.5. I gave him 5 wins. I would have hit the under all day long because I know this is going to be a learning year for Justin Fields. I know that Andy Dalton is just to be frank, is Andy Dalton. Is what he is. There's nothing that Andy Dalton can do on the field that Justin Fields cannot do now. Nothing. It's going to be fun. We'll see what happens. Guys, we're going to get into a little bit more here, okay? Before we bring on my guy, Mark Giangreco here. I'm super happy to have Mark here with us. And before we bring Mark on, guys, we have a quick little word from our sponsor. This interview tonight is brought to you by Nick and Ivy Brewing Company, downtown Lockport, Illinois. Beautiful place. Like I said earlier before the show started, they have the FatMike Chicago Lager. It's being canned as we speak. You go up, look them up on Facebook. They're canning this shit right now. They're also canning the Hubner right now. All right. It's good stuff. Make sure you guys get your asses on down there, drink a bunch of beer, and yeah, make sure that they're the FatMike and the Hubner. But real quick, before we get to Mark, here's a quick word from those guys.
Hello, this is Paul from Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. We are located at 1026 South State Street in historic downtown Lockport, Illinois. We are very excited to be partnering up with the FatMike Chicago Sports Show, as well as the 1252 brand, because we are one of the few Chicagoland breweries that embrace sports and sports culture. Come in for a fresh brewed beer made right here in Lockport while catching the game of your favorite team. Stay for the live music that we have booked every weekend, or just come for a cozy atmosphere to enjoy a good conversation with a friend, loved one, or complete stranger. stranger. Nick and Ivy makes you feel right at home no matter what the occasion is. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. Visit our website for our up-to-date tap list or to go shopping on our online store at nickivybrewing.com. That's Nikivy brewing.com. Come in today for fresh brewed beer born and raised in Lockport, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Darren, licensed real estate broker with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group in Homer Glen. Are you looking to buy or sell? Have you been disappointed in the past? The Jonathan Darren team with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group focuses on providing you with a concierge level of service during the process of buying or selling. We are a service-oriented team with a fresh and professional approach to selling real estate. Our goal is to combine knowledge, skills, and passion to exceed our clients' expectations, and most of all, we truly care. We are a knowledgeable real estate team focused on offering expertise and innovative solutions for our clients. The Jonathan Darren team has 5 full-service real estate brokers and a dedicated full-time marketer servicing all of Chicagoland. We will customize a detailed plan around your timeline for a sale, purchase, investment, estate, or other needs. Real estate transactions can be stressful, but don't need to be. Let us handle it for you. Visit our website, homesbyjdt.com, or call 708-308-1938 today. Expect better in real estate. Choose the Jonathan Darren team.
All right, guys, and we are back. We are back, and we're about to welcome on my guy, Mark Giangreco. I'm super happy to have him here again. It's the second time on the show. Now you can call him a regular, guys. You guys can actually call him a friend now. I'm really happy to bring him on. Here he is, my guy, Mark. Marky, baby, what's going on, my man? How we doing?
Mikey, thanks for having me back, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm super pumped to have you here, man. We're talking some Bears here, and man, oh man, you've been covering this team for a long time. Let me say, okay.
Well, 1982, the glory days with 85, you'll never see that again. But what's happening now is just the same thing over and over and over and over again. I'm sick to my stomach every Sunday night, every post-game interview, every Monday morning interview. Matt Nagy says the same thing every week for the past few years. Tom Waddle characterized it best. It's word salad. The guy talks in circles. You never get a straight answer out of him. Obviously, he's in over his head. He's not the new, young, hip quarterback guru we all thought he was going to be. I mean, after John Fox, we were thrilled to see a young guy with energy who appeared to be transparent. He has no clue. And once again, they could very well ruin this kid. Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die. I worry about Justin Fields in that respect.
And that's a sad thing here. That's a sad thing here, Mark. I mean, obviously, you just quoted Jim McMahon from when he was on my show here when he said Chicago's where quarterbacks go to die.
Right.
And it's sad to say, but it's not too far from the truth as of recency of the last 35 years since Jim has been here. How do the Bears fix this in your eyes? How can the Chicago Bears fix this? Is Matt Nagy the guy? I mean, those are the two questions I have to start for you immediately. How do the Bears fix this, and is Matt Nagy the guy?
Everybody's going to go, well, it's either Matt Nagy or it's Ryan Pace. To me, you cannot separate the two. They are joined at the hip. You have to get rid of both. Ryan Pace is an absolute bust. The guy finally drafted a couple of tackles, okay? They hadn't addressed the offensive line forever. You mentioned Jenkins earlier. We'll get to the defense and this whole Jalen Johnson thing. Did you see this today? Anyway, I digress. Pace has got to go. And look, the McCaskies are never going to sell the team. That's where it really should start. Look, George McCaskey, really nice guy, but he's just this kind of nerdy, geeky little dude who, will feign being upset and say, oh, my mom's really upset. Mom's really mad. Virginia, the matriarch, oh, she's really mad. Do something about it. Okay, look, everybody talks about, hey, we want to win. We really want to win. You don't have to win as an NFL owner. You take all that TV money, you sit back and just tell people you want to win. You don't have to. Ryan Pace thought he was the young up-and-coming stud. He was the new innovative guy out of New Orleans. Everybody respected the Saints front office. He is an absolute arrogant, pompous, total bust. Matt Nagy, I had high hopes for the guy. I really did. But you can tell as a casual fan when he's calling the plays and when Bill Lazor's calling the plays. And now, thankfully, he's back to Lazor. And you see a rhythm and you see, things roll a little smoother. Here's what I see about Justin Fields. I don't know if I answered your question, but I think It'd be ideal if the McCaskies sold. They never will. Ryan Pace has to be fired. He's still got another year to go. The Bears never fire a coach in midseason. They'll probably keep Nagy this year and next year, and then let him go and start all over again. It's a vicious cycle. You want to get to Justin Fields now?
Yeah, I would love to. How do you feel about Justin Fields? How do you think he's done over the last couple of weeks?
I think he's getting better. But not fast enough for the media or the fans. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Agreed.
Obviously, really talented kid, super smart, very mature, great demeanor, very competitive, does his homework. But like every highly touted rookie, he still thinks at this young juncture that he can make all the throws and make all the runs of Mahomes and Allen and Jackson. He thinks he can force it in there. And as a young kid, he's got to pull back the reins and try to restrain himself. The other thing I see, aside from the offensive line being a total disaster, is mechanically, he's got a relatively really slow, long release.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a real quick snap release. And I think that has to be addressed. He's got to learn how to read defensive, everything else, learn to read coverages, check down. But those things will come. I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be like those top three guys, but I think he'll be right below that slot. I'm just afraid the coaching here is going to ruin him. I really do. And you were talking about forget about the playoffs. Totally agree. At this point, look, we're already a third of the way through the season, right?
Right.
Forget about the playoffs and forget about the record. As a fan, you just have to focus on the development of Justin Fields and hope nobody else gets hurt. That's where we're now with the Bears.
And one thing that kind of sparked my interest earlier in the week is when they were talking. They talked to Bill Belichick. They talked to Robert Saleh up there in New York Jets, New England, where these rookie quarterbacks are starting. Even Urban Meyer. These guys are learning, and they're progressing in their learning and their teaching while they're actually playing the game. And that's one thing I feel that Justin Fields isn't doing. I feel like it's robotics coming into him. Even with Bill Lazor or Matt Nagy calling the plays, I feel like that it has to be robot programmed for him to be able to run the offense. I feel like it's like do this or get out. One of those two. You have to let this kid learn. All right. And you can't learn behind a makeshift shitty O-line. I'm sorry, you can't do it because you're going to get fucking creamed like you did out in Cleveland. I was at that game, Mark. Yeah. I watched that live. I went to the worst Bears game in the last 25 years. I went to that game. I drove 500 miles to go on out there and watch Justin Fields become a part of the fucking turf out in Cleveland. And it drove me nuts.
Well, there's something wrong with you then. Okay. You got to check yourself. It's
you ain't joking.
That game were unbelievable. They were historically bad, single-digit stats on offense. I agree with you. It's information overload, I think, and he's going to become a robot. You got to let him breathe a little bit. I said early on, he's good enough to be able to, complete a pass on a broken play and to ad lib. He's that good, but you can't continue to do that. You have to have some protection. You have to be able to throw from the pocket.
Right.
And, still be mobile when warranted. So I think right now he's a little skittish. Instead of checking down and going through his reads, man, his primary's not open. He's running because you can't trust the guys in front at all.
Now, we have a guy here, I don't know his name, but Facebook user is saying you will never fix his release like you were just talking about. He has that long release that goes through his body. That's why he has legs. You can have a long release when you run. Fields needed to ride the pine and learn behind Dalton. Do you think starting Fields right now is the wrong move, or should we be going is the right move, or should we be going with Dalton?
I think it's the right move. Forget Andy Dalton. That gets you right. All that does is delay the development of Justin Fields. Now, I criticize the coaching staff and the head coach, but just him being on the field, even if he's not being coached well, just getting his own experience out there, letting him ad lib, letting him figure it out himself. Forget Andy Dalton. That's ridiculous. They got Andy Dalton before they knew where they were going to get Justin Fields.
Right.
So it was going to be a stopgap measure for this year. They somehow managed to trade up. Oh my gosh, hey, this is great. And then Andy's a great insurance policy. But forget about him. I mean, there's no discussion. Fields starts the rest of the year no matter what, unless he gets hurt, God forbid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I think you should have started with Fields out of the gate. There's no reason, and this is something that I've been saying for a long time, Mark. Why move up in the draft to grab a guy who's not going to start immediately for you and make a difference immediately? You did that in 2017 when you signed Mike Glennon, and you go out and draft Mitch Trubisky at number 2, and Mike Glennon is your starter for the first 3 weeks. Why are you not drafting guys that are immediate plug and play guys? You get them that high, you should be playing them immediately. Look at the New England Patriots drafting Mac Jones at 15, starting him immediately. That's what the Bears need to do. They have the confidence in these guys. Why aren't you doing this with if you have that much confidence in drafting them that high? Why aren't you playing them immediately? That's the point.
Yeah,
that's the point.
Example too. Look at the Bears are doing what other teams do, but the other teams have the luxury of having a decent veteran quarterback who can start and be a stopgap measure. And the Bears think, well, this is what we'll do. But they don't have the caliber of veterans that are able to just be placeholders. And
right.
The other thing is, it's just this organization is so bad. Mac Jones is such a perfect example of how great the Patriots organization is and how great Bill Belichick is. Mac Jones is sensationally unspectacular. He's not going to do anything that Mahomes, Fields, any of these people, Tua, anybody hurts, but he's going to take you down the field and complete every short to medium range pass. Once in a while, go deep, not going to stretch the field a whole lot. Mac Jones already playing, I mean, forgive me, he's already playing kind of like a younger Brady.
Yeah, I mean, you're Mark. You nailed it right on the head. You're goddamn right. I mean, they didn't ask much of Tom Brady when he first came in for an injured Drew Bledsoe. They asked him to manage the game, and that's exactly what Brady was for his first 5 years in the league.
And how accurate is Mac Jones? He's the most accurate kid out of college I've ever
seen. Now, he looks awesome, and I don't trust any quarterback out of Alabama. That's just me. Right. There hasn't been a good quarterback out of Alabama ever in my mind.
And look at what he did in college. There were 3 or 4 quarterbacks ahead of him all the time, and he stayed. He could have transferred.
Right.
But he's a really super smart Phi Beta Kappa dude. He's got his head screwed on right. He's never going to outrun anybody. He's never going to juke anybody. But you address that O-line, which they appear to have. Look, they're going to lose a lot of games. It's total rebuild for them. Thank God, because they're in the same division with my Bills. I'm still crushing that Titans game, but thoroughly entertaining. They're going to turn it around with Mac Jones and quarterback. In the meantime, I think it's going to take quite a while for Justin Fields to develop here. Longer than we can tolerate.
It has to happen, and I think for that to happen, Mark, is like you said, they got to get rid of Pace. They got to get rid of Nagy. I'm so tired of hearing. I've mentioned this on previous week shows. I know that you listen from time to time, but I've been up Matt Nagy's ass the last 3 weeks about play calling or people calling him a good leader of men, quote unquote, a good leader. This fucking guy is not William Wallace, for crying out loud, from Braveheart. I'm tired of hearing that he's a good leader of men. I want to see him put action on the field. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see this team score points. I want to see this team fucking win games. That game last week was a winnable game. Mm-hmm. It was a very winnable game against Green Bay. You could have won that game. Time of possession, you guys killed it. Even with two beat up running backs, you still could have won that game. It was a winnable game.
This is blasphemy, but I love Aaron Rodgers. I love him. He's such a cocky badass. And I'll tell you, he's driving everybody crazy. Pat McAfee, he's got a spell over Rodgers. I mean, McAfee gets everybody to open up on his podcast. And Rodgers, just stream of conscious, just lets it rip. He gets more out of guests than anybody else. And Rodgers just continues to speak his mind and be very open and blunt. And look at, he does own the Bears, and he does own the Bears fans. It's a fact. There's nothing better than watching the Green Bay Packer offense click. It's just that rhythm. It's that thing you watch as a fan going, wow, this is incredible to see the execution here.
It's a fine-tuned machine. When they're running right, it's a fine-tuned machine. And that's one thing. As much as I hate Aaron Rodgers, I love to hate him and I hate to love the guy at the same time. Like you just said, all right, the Green Bay Packers, when they're on, they're on. And Aaron Rodgers, he has owned Chicago. The guy is 22-5 against Chicago Bears in his career. Guys, it's not a rivalry at this point, okay? It's not a rivalry.
Right.
A rivalry is competitive. This is an ass whipping, is what it is. Oh, I mean, it really is. It's an ass whipping over the last 27 games. Aaron Rodgers has owned you.
Yeah, and it's going to continue because he's now getting real cheeky and hinting that he's going to stick around for at least another year. They're going to get smoked in Green Bay. It's just going to go on and on. He and Favre have established this thing. It's going to take centuries to overcome. You can talk about Aaron Rodgers' personal life and all the relationships he's been through and doesn't speak to his parents or his brother and blah, blah, blah.
It don't matter.
He's just a cool, just assassin out there. He's a badass.
I don't care if this guy has fucking 15 illegitimate children like Scottie Pippen. I don't care. All right. I don't care about this guy's personal life. I care about what he does on the field. Plain and simple.
And going back to Nagy, look, it's so obvious now the guy is in so far over his head. He outcoaches himself. I think he's very confused. And the moment is always too big for him. That's how I see him. The moment is always too big. And even if giving up play calling, he just seems to be grasping at straws. It's so repetitive. It's just, I've seen this movie 100 times. And now you want to start talking about who could replace him? Who's out there? Seriously.
I don't know. I would like to see Brian Daboll here. That's your guy up there in Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. I wouldn't mind seeing Byron Leftwich from Tampa Bay out here. All right. Granted, I know Tom Brady's pretty much his own offensive coordinator down there in Tampa Bay. He doesn't need one. Yeah. All right, but you forget that Jameis Winston had the best year in his career
Kellen Moore,
the tutelage of Byron Leftwich.
Kellen Moore with the Cowboys.
Yep.
You got to go with a young offensive guy. The guys you mentioned, maybe. I don't know. And there's Eric Bieniemy still sitting out there. That still boggles my mind. Leftwich definitely going to get a head coaching job. We'll see. But I think we're stuck with Nagy for the rest of this year and next because that's the way the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He's with him starting Justin Fields, it saves his job for next. That's the way I think of it. It's like we're starting a rookie quarterback. That's how we got to do this.
Built-in excuse.
Yeah, it's a built-in excuse. Exactly. Now, I want to move on to a little bit of the Blackhawks here. I know we've been talking a lot about the Bears here.
Yeah.
Mark, I know you're a big puck fan like myself. The Blackhawks have not looked good, man. 0-4. They barely mustered some points up against the Devils the other night. It's been a rough go. How do you see this team here right now, the Chicago Blackhawks, as of right now?
The air has already been sucked out of the building. I mean, it's already, to me, the season is done. I'm so disappointed. It's like, are you kidding me? Coming out of the box like this, you've given up 16 goals in 4 games. You've allowed a goal in the first minute of just about every game. Yeah, the Devils game, they did come back, but they lose in overtime. Look at Marc-Andre Fleury should have retired. That was a great story in Vegas, winning the Vezina this late in his career. Third all-time winningest goaltender in NHL history behind Brodeur and Waugh. He should have just retired. He's done. I really, really, really wish that Taves and Kane could be traded back to their hometowns of Winnipeg and Buffalo. Never going to happen. Nobody's going to pick up those contracts. So those guys are stuck to ride this out. Where's Kubalik? Where's DeBrincat? This is just Dylan Strome on the trading block. And once again, this goes back to ownership and coaching. Jeremy Colleton was touted, just like Nagy, as the young, sharp, up-and-coming, innovative guy doing all kinds of great stuff in the AHL, very short playing career, but great hockey mind. This guy has no pulse. He has no personality. He has no presence. It's a perfect hire by Stan Bowman, who's a corpse to begin with. He's devoid of any kind of animation. Bowman had a great run putting in all those interchangeable parts and pieces for those 3 Stanley Cup runs around the core, of Keith and Taves and Kane and
Seabrook,
Book and all that. So, but that run is over. Obviously, now they're dealing with this internal investigation, the sexual assault thing. John got to take the fall for that. I hope they don't go after Q and Mark Bergeron and those kind of guys. They clean out the front office. Rocky, I think, has just decided, you know what? I'm out. I'm going to turn it over to my son, Danny. That was a joke when they said that Danny was going to lead the search for a new general manager. He was taking over the team from day one, from the get-go. And then they bring in Jamie Faulkner. She's trying to establish a whole new culture there, hiring a lot of women, which is overdue. But a lot of good people were let go. That franchise is in turmoil right now. And as far as on the ice, the D is still a problem, even though they went out and got Seth Jones. I think it's going to stifle him. You got a 4-time All-Star who's just spectacular. But where does he fit in? It's going to be Murphy and Jones, or is it going to be Stillman and, DeHaan, what is he, 40? I mean, the D pairings are weird. You're getting no offense. Taves is not back 100%. And I really, really feel for Kaner because at this point in his career, he should be piling up stats so he can retire as the all-time greatest American to ever play NHL. Right now, you got Chelios and you got
Madonna.
And then I would say Kane and a couple other guys.
Right.
Roenick's top 10, top 8 maybe. But, it's just sucked the life out of me already. I don't see this team recovering from this slow start. It breaks my heart.
Do you think Seth Jones is a good fit for this Blackhawks team as it sits right now? Do you think he's a good fit? For me, it kind of looks like he's trying to, instead of making the big pass across the ice, which is known for Blackhawk hockey, we like to make those big passes across ice, He tries to kind of he has more of the Brian Campbell game where he likes to try and skate the puck out of the zone a little bit, and he doesn't seem to have the speed to do so. Is that a good fit for this Blackhawks team underneath Jeremy Colleton?
No, it's not, because I don't think they have a plan. I don't know if they know what they want to do. Just go back to dump and chase and make it real simple. You're right. Jones likes to skate with the puck. He sees himself as an offensive defenseman. Brian Campbell, had incredible wheels. So you can't compare him to him in that respect. I just think they don't have a plan right now. They're just kind of throwing guys out on the ice and seeing what happens. And, before you know it, let's see, in preseason, they were picked to maybe be third in the division, maybe have a chance to make the playoffs, maybe wild card. They're going nowhere. And again, this investigation is hanging over their head. And there's got to be a coaching change. But again, who do you go after? I see people all over social media saying, get Tortorella in there to kick some ass.
Oh, God, no.
Well, he's the Billy Martin of the NHL. He's a quick fix guy. I tell you, I'd love to have him here just for the news conferences because he's such a prick. You know?
You are 100% right. I hate that fucking
No
guy.
comment. He loves to fight with the media. I love that kind of stuff. He's actually pretty funny, too. So now he's on ESPN. Other people are saying Mike Babcock. Well, he's doing TV over on NBC. Everybody hates Babcock.
Right.
And there's so many stories about him. He got a shitload of money to go to Toronto, and that didn't work out. He had a lot of success in Detroit. And here's a career minor leaguer who, came up through the coaching ranks. And, he won titles and he had a lot of success, but he's not that well respected. So forget about Babcock. That's retread. Torts, I don't know. I think that'd be interesting, but not long term. So I don't know. This is one of those nights, Mikey, where I wish I was in the office with the 6 big monitors, because you got, league championship series, bull opener. I got to get my hockey fix somewhere. You're flipping around everywhere. But as far as the Bears and the Hawks go, I think we're done out of the gate.
Well, nobody expected. There was high hopes for the Blackhawks this year with Taves coming back, especially with the news of his health that happened last year where he sat out. There were high hopes for the Blackhawks this year, but like you said, if 4 games in, it's kind of taking the wind out of your sails. The Bears, I don't think there was any expectations there, Mark. We really knew what they were by them going out and grabbing Dalton, by them going out and drafting Justin Fields. I don't think there was any playoff hopes or playoff expectations for that team.
I disagree with you, Mikey, because Bears fans, and having been
those Bear fans who think that the Bears were going to make the playoffs this year are fucking meatheads, Mark. Let's get real here. I mean, we've all seen this team here.
That's the majority of the fan base. Every team has a bunch of meatheads for fans. And they cry and they scream about their team, but they're always going to watch and they're going to keep buying tickets. There's never going to be a boycott. There's never going to be a fan protest. The teams are going to be making TV money hand over fist, collecting tickets. The turnstiles are still going to roll. They're still going to fill the stadium. We're all a bunch of idiots. Look,
right.
The NFL is ingrained in our culture. We can't live without it. We make fun of the rest of the world and how they're so berserk over soccer and how inane and ridiculous it is. That's the way we are about the NFL. We could do without baseball and basketball, hockey, generally speaking. The United States cannot do without the National Football League. We'd freak. We'd be in more trouble than we are now. You talk about a nation in turmoil. Yeah, that's where we would be. So fans, for the most part, they got to blame themselves. And I think the majority of fans expected this team to go to the playoffs this year. They're not going. And so
they're not going.
Look at Justin Fields and hopes that he can develop in spite of that organization.
Right. Now, Mark, there's been some news over the last couple of weeks. Let's turn back to the NFL here a little bit here. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse with what happened with the company that you were previously with here in Chicago, but I mean, because it's been beaten brutally at this point. But we've seen another canceled person in the sports world with being John Gruden and the Las Vegas head coaching job out there with the Raiders. Respectfully, he resigned, or not respectfully, whatever which way you want to say it. I mean, he resigned regardless with the Raiders. On some things he said, I agree with. Some things I don't agree with. I totally get it. The main thing I agree with is that Goodell's a pussy. All right, I will say that. That's the only thing I agree with him. All right, but he got canceled for something that was said over 10 years ago. Well, as a person in the industry and in the culture and in the industry of the sports world, what are your feelings and thoughts on something like this?
Well, let me stop you right there, Mikey. First, before I say anything, let me preface it with this. Yes, obviously, everybody knows my story. I was a victim of cancel culture, but that's where the similarity ends between me and the Gruden situation.
Yes. Oh, big time.
Nothing to do with racism, sexism, homophobia, anything else. None of that. There was one person, a coworker, who edited out for me. I was ambushed, and for whatever reason, she got me fired by using all the tools that are available in cancel culture now. So we'll just leave that.
Right. Exactly. And I didn't mean to put. I wasn't saying that you were a part of anything like that. I apologize.
No. I'm not jumping on you for that. I'm saying the John Gruden situation is horrifying. It's undefendable in every way, indefensible. But it's not him making a comment in an email 10 years ago. It's hundreds of emails over at least the past 10 years. I mean, establishes more than a pattern. Look, we all love John Gruden. He was a great character. The whole Chucky thing got old. Look, he's a University of Dayton guy. I always cheered for him, but his act got old. He won a Super Bowl, which is ironic. So he gets revenge against Al Davis and crushing the Raiders with the Bucs. And then his son, Mark, who's this really quirky, weird, nerdy little geek, inherits the team. I mean, the haircut, really.
Terrible.
He's just a weird dude, and he's enamored with Gruden, loves him, hires him, gets $100 million for 10 years. But the fact that Gruden was able to punch out these emails for 10, probably 15 years with the Washington football team executives and everybody else shows that this is a National Football League cultural thing. Gruden's taken the fall for it. And it's so absurd and ridiculous for the NFL to come out and say, oh, we checked everybody else's emails. Gruden's the only guy that was saying that kind of stuff.
Bullshit.
Are you friggin' kidding me?
Right, bullshit.
Reason John Gruden was allowed to rant and rave for years and years and years is because the NFL is owned and run by a bunch of rich old white guys who were forced to do something about concussions because they were caught covering it up, forced to do something about sexual assault and spouse abuse because it was just erupting, forced to address LGBT issues homosexual issues. Our culture is changing. They've been forced to address all that, and it's all phony and fake. It's all lip service, because I guarantee you, all these fat, rich, old white guys are in the back room in the wood-paneled libraries, smoking cigars and chugging bourbon and making those kind of jokes and still laughing about it. But in public, oh, we're outraged. We have to punish John Gruden. This is horrifying. I mean, it's a friggin' joke. It really is. The NFL is one of the most dangerous, corporate conglomerates there is. It's just all about the money. The money grab is incredible, and everything else, we'll just pay lip service and fake it and make it look like we care. I mean, there's so many scandals, and Roger Goodell is perfect for these owners because he is the biggest piece of shit on earth. I mean, the only thing more corrupt than the NFL is FIFA and the NCAA. Okay. There, I said my piece.
I like that.
I wasn't going after you about, Goodell. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, no, he's a piece of shit. I'm not a fan of Goodell. I think he's a pussy. That's the only thing I can agree with Gruden on, is that Goodell's a pussy.
Yeah, I disagree when you said, hey, this was something that happened 10 years ago. This has been happening for at least 10 years. So I just wanted to get that. Look, you know what? This is the worst punishment in the world for Gruden, because he eats, sleeps, and drinks football, and he can never coach again. Never. And, look, he got $40 million of the $100 million he was going to get. I'll bet that Mark Davis, who still loves Gruden so much, he had to come out with his own statement condemning him when, first of all, he wouldn't say anything. I'll bet that he pays Gruden at least some of that $60 million under the table in the future.
I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that at all. I wouldn't doubt that at all. And it is an issue in today's NFL with all this stuff, with all the the quote unquote stereotypes, and it's not even quote unquote. It's a true thing. It is a thing that we're dealing with in today's society, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, just why can't we just play football? Like our guy Ron Rupnow says here, why can't they just play football? I care less about their politics or any about their issues.
Right.
Just play the fucking game. Before there was never any talk about this stuff way back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. There was no talk about this stuff.
Right, because racism, was
acceptable. Is that a term? Racism was acceptable in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Is that a thing?
It was running rampant, and our society has changed, culture has changed. So, professional sports, college sports, it's a microcosm of life. So, unfortunately or fortunately, players are using their platforms to, talk about politics and social issues. I mean, that's the way of the world now. You have to allow that. As a fan on Sundays, I just want to focus on the game, but you can't ignore the other stuff. You can't.
Right. You can't ignore the big picture. Correct. Right. Mark, I love having you on here, man. Can you hang on a second when we play a couple more commercials? Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Sounds good, man. Guys, we'll be right back here. We're going to be right back. We got a couple more commercials for you guys. My girl, Susie Sheehan, over at the State Farm office in downtown Lockport. She has a FatMike markdown for you guys. Make sure you guys go there and get your insurance. It's awesome. I can't believe it. FatMike markdown. Can you believe that shit? Here we go. Hey, Susie, thanks for hooking me up with the FatMike markdown on my insurance rates at State Farm. This is awesome.
No, Mike. The FatMike markdown is not a real thing.
I don't believe that for a second. Let me repay you the favor and tell you and all my friends about the FatMike markdown.
Okay, well, that's just fine, considering that State Farm just gives everyone surprisingly great rates.
You heard it here first, folks. So give Susie Sheehan over at State Farm Agency a call and ask for the FatMike markdown. It's the best.
For the real deal, give us a call at 815-306-0184 or go to SusieSheehan.com to request a quote. My team at the Susie Sheehan Agency is here to help with all of your insurance needs for auto, home, and life, and we service Illinois and Indiana. Also, if you mention the FatMike markdown, $10 will be donated to a local charitable organization through our Quotes for Good program in your name. Remember, that's 815-306-0184 or SusieSheehan.com. Thanks so much.
Get on it, everybody.
Woo-hoo.
All right, and we're back. That's my girl, Susie Sheehan, Mark, out in Lockport, Illinois. She got the FatMike markdown, man. Go switch your car insurance, State Farm. She'll give you a hookup with the Fat Mike markdown.
Hey, wait, do I get the markdown?
You probably could. Yeah, you get the skinny markdown. Yeah, Fat Mike markdown, skinny markdown. Yeah, that could happen. Real quick before I let you go, Mark, I know tonight's opening NBA for the Bulls here, and I wanted to talk to you a quick little bit about the Bulls because I know you covered those guys for years as well.
Well,
Bulls made a lot of moves, man. A lot of moves here.
Arturis brought instant credibility to that front office. John Paxson as a person, probably the worst PGM, whatever you want to call him. Did nothing. Our foreman, who the hell was this guy? Talking in circles, nothing but bullshit. I had to look up his resume. Coached somewhere in college, was a scout here and there. This guy was so full of shit. He just babbled incessantly, said nothing. Nothing happened. No moves were made. They were spinning their wheels forever. You have this huge gap between the Jordan years and now. Karnisovas comes in, cleans house, brings in all his people. They have people surrounding Zach LaVine now. Vucevic is going to have extra time now to gel with these guys. I'm excited to see what Lonzo Ball can do. DeRozan brings grit as well as scoring. I kind of like what they're doing. And I got to tell you, I'm not that big of an NBA fan. Really not. I'm all about the NFL and the NHL. And I'm a casual baseball fan. I got to tell you, these playoffs have been spectacular.
Unbelievable.
But I am interested in the Bulls. And I'll tell you, you know what one of the greatest pickups for them has been? Adam doing play-by-play.
Okay.
He's fantastic. He's great. He's terrific. He's one of those new young voices who's doing everything like Jason Benetti and other guys. But Adam Amin can really call a basketball game. And they've got some talent out there. Look, they're in the East. They're not going to go anywhere, but they're going to be entertaining, okay? So I'm interested to see what they can do.
I think they're a playoff team this year, Mark. I really do. I think they win 50 games.
Do you really?
I really do. I like this young core that they have here, and I like how they can dribble. I like how they can make plays with the big guys they got. DeMar DeRozan can score. Lonzo Ball can dish the ball like crazy.
Yeah,
he's unbelievable at finding assists everywhere he can go. And I expect a big year out of LaVine this year. I truly do. As a scorer, as a pure scorer, I expect him to up his game this year, and I expect the Bulls to win 50 games this year. I truly do.
LaVine has no excuses now. He's got talent around him, so he can be a scorer. He doesn't have to play defense on this team, although it does still need to improve. I've always liked DeRozan a lot. Nikola, big body, can score. That was a quality deal that they made.
Great deal.
They're going to make some more. And, I think the bench is still a little dicey here and there. It's kind of a little uneven, but I don't know about 50 games. All right, maybe if I go with you on that, I think they're one and done in the playoffs, but to make the playoffs would be huge. I think along the way, though, the journey is going to at least be exciting. They're not going to get blown out in real depressing games. I think they're going to be entertaining. And the bottom line is that's what sports is. Throughout the records and playoff predictions, everything else, I want to be entertained when I sit down and watch a game.
Right. And it's going to be a fun season to watch all this stuff along the line, man. To watch the Blackhawks this year, as much as they're not doing good right now, I do expect them to somewhat turn it around with the amount of goal scorers they have with Tays, Kane, Kucherov, and DeBrincat, and Doc and all these guys. I expect them to start putting some goals in the net here, and I hopefully Andre Fleury shows a little bit of his old form here as an ex-Vezina Trophy winner. But the Bulls,
Kirby Doc, I saw his news conference the other night, and it's all in his head now because he's constantly being asked about why are you not scoring? You're huge. You can skate. You can stick handle. You can knock people off their skates. And I think now he's tired of answering those questions. It's kind of in his head right now.
I could see that. I could dedefinitely see that. But along with the Blackhawks, the Bulls going to be good. We got some
real quick, this Jalen Johnson thing. He got fined $2,700 for being late the other day.
Did you see that shit? I saw that today. What the hell is that?
His letter going, really, bruh? See this? Look what they're doing to me, dude. There are rules. There's a collective bargaining agreement with your union and management. You were late. You got fined $2,700, and you're bitching about it on social media. Really, suck it up. Look he's played well. I like him, but don't do yourself any favor by doing that kind of crap.
Really. You got a job. You got to be there on time. Plain and simple. No matter if you're professional or not.
You can afford $2,700.
Right. Yeah, he can. I can't at all. Jeez, sweet. If I was finding $2,700, I'd be living underneath the bridge.
You got so many sponsors now. You're rolling in it.
Yeah, I wish. Let me tell you, Mark. Thank you so much for coming on with us, man. Give our listeners a little bit. How can find you? How can we stay in contact with you? How can we see what you're doing?
Well, thanks, Mike. I really appreciate it. Twitter handle is @Mark_Giangreco. I'm also on Facebook. I'm going to jump on Instagram soon. Love being on your podcast. I've been approached by a lot of producers to do my own. Thinking about that. Really flattered that a couple other TV stations are still coming at me and a couple of radio stations. I think I'm kind of done with that portion of my career. Nobody watches local TV news anymore. It's all but dead. And this is where it's happening. And, I got a few surprises coming up in the next few months with some of my old colleagues. So I'll keep you all posted. Let's just let's go back and forth on Twitter and look for me on Instagram soon.
Excellent. Yeah. And when you do find out what you're doing, let me know. I want to break that news here, Mark. I want to be the first one that gets it.
Oh, you got it, man.
Sounds great, Mark. Mark, thank you so much for hopping on with us again. I really do appreciate it, man. You're the best, man. Thanks.
Mikey, thanks for the forum, man. We'll stay in touch.
You take care, Mark. Take care. Guys, Mark Giangreco, I love this guy. He's fucking awesome, man. Every time he comes on here with me, that's twice now he's coming on with me. He has been an absolute professional the entire time, and he speaks his mind. That's one thing I love about Mark. He's not that guy that's going to hide behind something. He tells you. You heard him say, Matt Nagy is a fucking joker pretty much. We all think the same exact thing. He's a Chicago fan when it boils down to it. As much as he's from Buffalo. Yes, he loves the Bills, but he's been here a long time, guys. He has to follow the Bears. He has become a Bear fan. He's not going to sit here and beat around the bush for you guys because he's a fan, just like all of us here, especially me. I'm a diehard fan. They drive me fucking nuts. But Mark tells it like it is, and it's absolutely awesome. And I really do appreciate him coming on here tonight. Make sure you guys go follow him on Twitter. Make sure you guys keep track of him he says he's going to open up an Instagram. I don't even have an Instagram. That guy's hipper than I am. Can you believe that? Man, oh man. Instagram. I barely know how to work my phone, let alone the computer, let alone my email, let alone anything else on the computer. This guy's opening up an Instagram. Look at him. He's 2021, that guy. He is 2021, let me tell you. But yeah, special thanks to Mark tonight. It was great having him on. Absolutely awesome. But yeah, guys, we got a big week coming up here against the Bucks. And I'm going to leave you guys with this. The Bucks are going to beat the Bears this week. I'm going to leave you guys with that. And hopefully, you guys know what I said at the beginning of the show now, okay? You guys know what I said at the beginning of the show. All right, I'm 1-5 picking on the Bears this year. Every time I thought they were going to win, they've lost. Every time I thought they were going to lose, they've won. The Bucks are going to win this week. Right here. The Bucks are going to win this week. I want to give a special thanks again to all of you guys for chiming in with us tonight. It's been absolutely awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining in with me again tonight. It was a lot of fun having you guys here. Stay tuned for next week. We got another big show next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to tell you guys who we're having on next week. Stay tuned for that. We also have the Chicago Clubhouse guys coming up with a show tomorrow night. Alan and 1252 in Chicago Clubhouse. Got the pregame going on tomorrow night. All right, the Bears fans with a brain show. Make sure you guys tune into that. And on Friday night, we got Harry the Greek, and we also have on Friday night we have the fantasy football show, which we have here, the best fantasy show in the world, along with Harry the Greek and the Over Under podcast. Make sure you guys tune in there. If you guys want to win some money, Harry's the guy to go to. All right, so make sure you guys stay tuned to all our shows this week. Make sure you guys are keeping up live on the 1252 feed. That way you guys can figure out what's going on and what shows are going to be when. But I'm really excited for this week, guys. It's going to be a fun time. Let's go Bears, or let's go Bucks. I don't know what I should say. I really don't know what I should say. A special thank you again tonight to all of our sponsors, Nick and Ivy Brewing Company, the Jonathan Darren team over at Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group. Also, Susie Sheehan and the State Farm Agency over there out in Lockport, Illinois. The Cupcakery Bakery, which has the best damn sweets around. White Oak Farm Venue out in Michigan City. Dugout Mugs, Hype Productions, and also Berardi and Associates. Make sure you guys look all those guys up. We have a website coming out here soon, guys. So make sure you guys keep your eyes peeled for that. You guys be able to find all our shows on there, all our previous shows, all our sponsors and stuff like that. But keep your eyes peeled for that. But on that note, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to go watch some baseball playoffs. Like Mark said, this baseball playoffs has been absolutely amazing this year. If you guys ain't watching that Dodgers and Braves series, man, oh man, you guys are missing out. If you guys aren't watching this Red Sox and Houston series, it's been back and forth. Make sure you guys are tuning in the baseball playoffs. I'm going to go watch a little bit of the Bulls too. So on that note, guys, I'm out of here. You guys have a great night, and I will see you guys next week. On that note, take care.